broadcast on our YouTube channel at Football Tribe UG. So, good morning and welcome to this live broadcast. My name is Robert Kesakos, and thank you for following the channel. For those that are watching now and for those that will be watching later on, it's the Premier League that we are back with, reviewing the hottest game of Sunday. That's on a Premier League Super Sunday, as Arsenal host Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium. Big game this for both sides, for both Liverpool, who are currently top of the Premier League table with about 51 points, while Arsenal are third on the Premier League table with 46 points. Manchester City coming second there. If Arsenal beat Liverpool, they do close the gap of 5 points to 2. And if Liverpool beat Arsenal, they do widen their point lead against one of the title contenders to 8 points. And if they draw, of course, things stay the same. So big game. A couple of team news from either side. Of course, both managers have had their say about this encounter, the history between the two sides. This is one of the highest scoring fixtures of the Premier League. About 186 goals scored in between them, and I think 53 or 58 of those have come during Jurgen Klopp's 8 years at Liverpool. He did say that at the end of the season he will be leaving Anfield, putting an end to his 8.5 years with the Merseyside side. So it's a big game, like I said, for either side. Arsenal are just returning to their winning ways after their December slump, where they lost games to Fulham, to West Ham. Of course, that's December, January. They drew to Liverpool 1-1. They lost to Aston Villa by a goal to 0, and things weren't really going their way. But 2 victories on the bounce for Mikel Arteta's side. That's against Crystal Palace by 5 goals to 0, and then was it 5? Yes, beating Crystal Palace, and then of course beating Nottingham Forest by 2 goals to 1. Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka on the score sheet, while Taiwo Awoniyi did score what turned out to be the only consolation for that Nottingham Forest side. As far as team news goes, Mikel Arteta does reveal that that Arsenal midfielder who that's Thomas Partey, who missed the Africa Cup of Nations for his Ghanaian side, who had an injury setback. He did feel a nudge or some bit of pain in the same area where he did suffer his injury that kept him out for the last for the last 4 months without kicking a ball. So that's a huge blow for this Arsenal side. And then so he's not available even for selection. I think Pablo Vieira could be available to return in the matchday squad. Of course, they are contending with the injury of Yurian Timber, who has been away for the better part of the season ever since matchday 1. I think it was against Nottingham Forest that did sustain that injury that has kept him out of action, although he's back in training. Not full training, but at least doing some work on the turf. And then, of course, Takahiro Tomiyasu is absent, is away at the Asian Cup, but he will be returning after Japan were knocked out by Iran, I think, beating them by 2 goals to 0. So he will be returning to the club very soon. And they have, and according to Fabrizio Romano, the Takahiro Tomiyasu and Arsenal are in the final stages of agreeing to a new deal for the Japanese, dynamic defender. So so otherwise, the rest of the players are available. I think it will be, of course, there are fitness questions about Gabriel Jesus. He did sustain something minor on his knee during that victory against Nottingham Forest, and he did say he will be assessed for availability this afternoon. In case he's absent, in case you do not see him on the starting lineup, that could be the issue. And of course, if he's absent, it could be Eddie Nketiah or Leandro Trossard that gets to given that role. And on another day, it could be Kai Havertz. So that means the headache is there for Mikel Arteta to choose his personal, his best 11 to start against this incredible Liverpool side who have only lost one game this season. Of course, they are going to be without some of their star players. That's Wataru Endo away for the Asian Cup, and will be returning soon. Mohamed Salah is injured. Timikas is injured. Bajetic, yes, is also out injured. From what I gather, that's Stefan Bajetic is out injured, so won't be available for selection. When we run it back on the previous, I think 4 or 5 meetings between the two sides, in this season, it was a 1-1 all draw between the two sides at Anfield, but Liverpool did beat Arsenal by 2-0 in the FA Cup at the Emirates Stadium in the same season. In the first game that ended 1-1, Ibrahim Konate, defender, Liverpool defender, was quite sensational in that game. He did manage to keep the Arsenal attackers at bay, so he was quite impressive. And then, of course, you look at we go back into last season again to draw at Anfield. Arsenal had taken a 2-0 lead, but they weren't able to hold on to that, and they did lose that 2-0 lead, and it ended 2-2. You had, of course, Arsenal were chasing the title. Liverpool were trying to, chase a top 4 finish, and they both didn't get their aspirations. We all know Arsenal eventually lost the title to Manchester City, and Liverpool ended up going to the Europa League. Then, still in the same season, around October, Arsenal at the Emirates did beat Liverpool by 3-2. If you remember that game, Gabriel Martinelli scoring early on into the game, Darwin Núñez scoring the leveler, and then you had Bukayo Saka score shortly before halftime. Of course, in the second half, I think it was Diego Jota that leveled the score line and then Arsenal do get a late penalty that then Bukayo Saka converts against Alisson Ramsey-Specker in the Liverpool goal, and it ended 3-2 at a time when Arsenal were highly scoring. At this stage last season, Arsenal had, I think, 52 or 51 points, but they are 5 points adrift of what at the same stage this season, because they only have 46 points. And yet Liverpool are making good on that rebuild. In that midfield, that Liverpool midfield, that's where the battle is going to be. Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, in that mix there. That's where I do expect the contention to be between these two sides. Of course, for the Arsenal side, Mikel Arteta has a headache in terms of choosing who starts in his midfield. Whereas Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard may be a no-brainer. The questions are going to be, does he start Jorginho in a double pivot, or does he start Emily Smith-Rowe, who I thought sort of had an average game against Nottingham Forest? Of course, you can't blame him that much. He's not too far back, fresh from injury. So, or even in the remotest of ideas, not very remote, but again, it could be Kai Havertz. So anything can happen. We are all waiting to see who starts for this Arsenal side in that midfield battle. Of course, for Arsenal's defense, that's quite obvious. Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba, Ben White, Zinchenko on the other side, and David Raya in goal. The front three could be obvious as Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus, if he is fit enough to start. If he's not fit enough to start, it could be Kai Havertz who starts in that role. It could be Eddie Nketiah, it could be Leandro Trossard, or anybody else. On the side of Liverpool, in the absence of Mohamed Salah, Diego Jota is available. This one fancies a game against Arsenal. He loves to score against Arsenal. So I expect Diego Jota, Luis Diaz to start this game, and possibly Darwin Núñez in that center forward role. He may be firing against the post and the blanks, but make no mistake, Darwin Núñez is quite a threat in that front line. Now, Arsenal's bait or for Darwin Nunes is that he's one of those short-tempered players. If you can sort of nudge him, kick him around without really getting booked, you could piss him off and get him booked, which usually cools his tempers or even get him sent off. But he is a brilliant striker. My best recollection of Darwin Nunes' progress was when he came off the bench to score a double against Newcastle when Liverpool were down to 10 men. Virgil van Dijk had been given a red card for his foul against Anthony Gordon in that game. So that's why we expect a very entertaining game, a very at least a high scoring game. That's over 2.5 goals or at least 3 goals. 2.5 over 2.5 is a betting language. Sorry about that for those that do not bet, but that is the expectation. That at least both sides may score. It could be a high scoring game, as history has often showed to us. Of and then so that's whichever sides. Of course, for the other side of defense, I think Liverpool had an injury to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who was absent, but still they are not in lack of options. In that centre back, you have Virgil van Dijk, you have Ibrahim Konate, you have a Joel Matip that can come in there, and all things are good. And then, of course, Andy Robertson on the other side, and Alisson Ramsey-Baker in that goal. So we do expect a very beautiful game. Liverpool have only lost a single game this season. That was against Tottenham by 2-1. Similar. Now, Liverpool have only lost one game this season. It is almost similar to when they lost a single game in the 2018-2019 season, when they only lost to Manchester City, but still lost the title to Man City. Man City winning the title by a point. That's how crucial a point can be. It was 98-97 for Liverpool, so they did miss out on the title. So that's the action that we do expect at the Emirates Stadium at 7:30 p.m. East African time. It's not to say that there are no other matches, because at 5 p.m. we will have Manchester United host West Ham United. At Old Trafford, we'll have Bournemouth host Nottingham Forest, while the other fixture will see Chelsea host Wolverhampton Wanderers. So whatever your predictions are, kindly leave them in the comment section, and we see what you think about this game. Whether you're watching now, whether you get to watch the broadcast later, it doesn't matter. Just leave a comment, a like, or even share this video to your friends that are football enthusiasts like we are here at Football UG. That's it that I have for you. Be blessed and enjoy the rest of the games this weekend. Do not forget, the Madrid derby is on at 11 p.m. between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid will be desperate to win, not just because it's a derby, but also because if they do win, they close that point gap against Barcelona, who won their game yesterday by 3-1. So that's it that I had for you. Stay blessed, and I'll see you next time.